Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite Battle Royale video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about these Fortnite Season 8 Week 4 challenges which have been leaked in Fortnite Battle Royale. Going to be talking about them, talking about what you guys can expect and how to complete these challenges, which will be coming out, of course, next Thursday. Hope you guys will enjoy this video. If you guys can, drop a like on this thing. I would very much appreciate that. Smack that like button. That would be very much appreciated. Drop a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell as well, and let's get right into it. Now, before we get into it though, for one thing is a disclaimer. Because I'm recording this video on a Saturday night and these challenges for week 4 don't release until next Thursday, usually or occasionally sometimes one or two or sometimes even a couple more of these challenges could be changed or altered in small to medium ways by the time these challenges are released. Because I'm making this video in advance, these challenges have been found and data mined from the files from Lucas7Yoshi, who is a reliable data miner and a leaker on Twitter. But of course, these can change, and Epic can change challenges. They've done it up to like a couple hours before one time, so they can change challenges at any time. So if when these challenges do come out next Thursday, they are a little bit different, or even when we do get closer to that Thursday date or around those challenges, I will probably make another full guide anyway talking about each of these challenges. But that's just the disclaimer to say if you're watching this once the challenges are out, and a couple of them have changed. So let's get right into it and talk about them though. First one is going to be to search buried treasures. Now, searching buried treasures is an interesting challenge because basically, this is with the treasure maps that are now available in the game. And the treasure maps are like an item, but the item is kind of useless until you go over and you basically follow to that gold spot. There's basically a gold shining light out of the sky as well as a sound. You follow over, you dig up the treasure. I'm sure you guys have seen it by now. It's been out for Season 8. And you get a bunch of gold guns, a chug jug, different stuff like that. You know, you get a bunch of good loot usually. And you have to do, it looks like this challenge is going to be to search for 2 buried treasures. So for this one, as far as it goes, I would just say play the game normally. Whenever you do find that treasure map, you do usually have to go out of your way to complete this challenge. So just take your time, do that, and you will have this challenge complete, and that is the first one. Next is going to be to launch yourself through structures with a pirate cannon. And it's looking like, as of right now, it's going to be about 25 structures. Now, this is going to be interesting because the challenges with the pirate cannons, it looks like, you know, a lot of these challenges are fairly easy this season, but these pirate cannon ones are very tedious and hard. And this challenge to launch yourself through different structures, this one probably a little bit easier than the last one, but basically you want to get into the front of the cannon, launch yourself, and destroy structures. Probably won't be that hard to do, but it is something that you have to go out of your way, and it's not something that you're going to be completing naturally, you know. But if you go into duos with a buddy and you destroy people's structures with this, it could be pretty fun. This is going to be one that's a little bit tougher. You're going to have to go out of your way, but if you do it, I think you can. It also doesn't say if it has to be opponent structures, whether you can do it to like buildings that are already made, whether you can build your own structures or your teammates. So we don't really know, and maybe it'll clarify once that challenge is out. But once again, something that probably would be easiest to set up, you know, you and your duo partner, and then your duo partner says, oh, they're over this way, drives around the cannon, you know, launches you and then launches himself or something like that. That's probably how you would want to complete this. But once again, these challenges are a little bit annoying, and obviously they're trying to push this new item onto us. Next one is going to be to get an elimination with a scoped weapon and a suppressed weapon, and one elimination with each of those guns. Now, the suppressed weapon is going to be pretty easy, of course, suppressed pistols or different things like that, and you could actually, if I'm thinking about this right, a scoped weapon and a suppressed weapon, if you get a kill with a silenced bolt sniper, I don't know if that will count as both and complete the challenge for you, but of course, silenced weapons, you have the SMGs, very easy, and then scoped weapons, I would probably stick with like snipers, you know, the silenced bolt, heavy sniper. But there are some other scoped weapons in this game that people do like to use. Personally, I don't use them too much myself, but that is one of the challenges. Next is eliminations. This is going to be to eliminate opponents at either Happy Hamlet or Pleasant Park. So once again, another one where you have 2 options, and I like how they do this now, because in past seasons where it was like search 7 chests at this one location, or do this at this one location, 10 limbs here and 3 limbs there, a lot of attention was drawn to one certain area. Happy Hamlet or Pleasant Park, these are 2 areas, which one is on the south side of the map, one is on the north side. They're both sort of on the west side of the map though, you know, but up and down on it, and that's basically where you have to get your eliminations. In my opinion, these ones are going to be very, very hectic. So my advice is to stretch it to the one that's furthest from the bus, and then you'll still get people going there, but it's probably a couple less, so your eliminations will be a little bit easier. When it's so hectic and you can't even get a gun or can't even land on loot, it's not really fun, and that's why, you know, if your hot drop is right above Pleasant this season, or not this season, but once these challenges are out, or Happy Hamlet, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Next is going to be to land at Tilted Towers, and this is going to be another one where it's basically a landing challenge where you're going to have to land at Tilted Towers as the first step, land at Junk Junction as the second step, land at Retail Row, land at Happy Hamlet, and then land at Pleasant Park. It's looking like it's going to be something like that. These challenges are very easy and sort of ones that just fill space. I mean, sometimes you have to go out of your way to do it, but you just look and be like, oh, I have to land here. This is a good bus route. I'll land there. And these are the kind of challenges that I like, because it gets you to explore different areas of the map that maybe players wouldn't explore before, but it's also not the most annoying challenge ever, and that's what we have. Next one is going to be to outlast 90 opponents in a single match. Now, this is a pretty difficult challenge, especially for more beginner players or casual players, and I'm not sure if this one could be one that they change maybe, but if this is in the challenge, outlast 90 opponents in a single match, that basically means you have to place top 10. Now, for a lot of people watching this, yeah, it's no problem, you just play normally, but for some people, this is going to be a lot more difficult, and I think there's going to be a lot of more players hiding to try to get to the spot. What that means is slower early games and probably, you know, more kills available in the mid to late games, which is going to be interesting to see if how this affects the flow of gameplay or changes stuff. But once again, a very, very interesting challenge that maybe, you know, if you partner up in a squads, could be a good way to do it with your friends, or just go into a solo match. Honestly, if you go into solos, and I don't know if this is going to change because everyone's going to care so much with this challenge out, but if you stretch and fly far away from the bus, loot up, move in slowly with the storm, you can probably make it without taking on many gunfights to like that top 10 or top 20, 15, and then make it to that top 10. You know, you can do that definitely without getting into any engagements by playing it safe. So if you want to do it that route, that is a way to get it done if you are having trouble with it. And then the next one is going to be to use the baller in different matches, which is of course the new vehicle. Now, I don't like that this is going to be a challenge. Now, they had this in the challenges for last week, and then they changed it to, well, it was in for week 3, and they changed it to week 4, so I'm not sure if this will be changed again. Here's the thing, once they put this challenge in, that means that this vehicle will stay for the whole season, because people will have, you know, that challenge is in the game, people will have to have the vehicle to complete the challenges. At least that's my thoughts on it. That's sort of how it's worked in the past. Who knows, they could change it up, alter the challenge later or something like that, but, you know, I don't really see that happening. So maybe if this challenge doesn't come out, maybe that, if they change it again, because they changed it last week, if they change it again, then that's probably a sign that this item might be removed during this season. If this one is put in, of course, use the baller in different matches. Basically, you have to find the hamster balls and drive around in them. There are some at the bridge by Paradise. There are some all over the place, because these are like the new, whenever there's new vehicles in the game, the drop rates are usually pretty high. I mean, the snowboards were everywhere. You know, now they're not as prevalent. The quad crushers were everywhere. Now they're not as prevalent as well. But of course, when the hamster balls just came out, they are all over the place. And honestly, in my opinion, kind of, it's interesting. Let me know your thoughts on them, because I don't think that definitely when you're watching like competitive games or professional like scrims, and everyone is in those hamster balls or in the gauntlet mode, it's really, really bad to watch, honestly, and I don't think that's the way Fortnite should be played. But we'll have to wait and see what is done about that, because that's how Fortnite goes. They add some new stuff, people give feedback, and then we wait and see. So hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys could drop a like thing, I would very, very much appreciate that. As you can see right here in this gameplay, I was in a nice scenario where 3 people left. Obviously, I'm one of them, which means there are 2 enemies. I have 6 kills right here. So this player is rushing me, and I'm trying to shoot this player down, and then eventually, instead of going up for the build fight, I realize I'm going to try to jump pad away, rotate over to the next zone, because I had such a bunch of, there's so many, not such a bunch, that doesn't really make sense, but so many jump pads. So I rotate early, I get down over here, and I kind of got into another tough spot. But that's the cool thing about jump pads, is I usually use them to cover like horizontal, you know, to get over on the map, but you can also use them to cover verticality, as you can do right here. I was down below, I get right back on top, and I'm able to put myself right back into the build fight with these players, and then from here on out, I am able to get the high ground. And this is why I love Glider Redeploy late game, because what is this built up on? I don't know, but I don't really care that much. Of course, I'm being smart here, and I'm building over to try to connect to this mountain. That player dies because he doesn't stick the landing. Of course, course, glad to redeploy, being very helpful. Here, this player is rushing above me. I realize I have time to pop this mini, and then I go for the build fight. This player stops to try to take the fight on with me. I kind of mess in my builds. Luckily, I do get the high ground, and then after that, it's a pretty simple after that. You know, I realize this is a common edit. I get up above one level higher to make it a much worse angle for him, much better angle for me, and GG's. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one, and yeah, more videos to come. I'm out. Peace.